Lovely.
Hmm.
It's one of your
Yeah,
pieces?
it's the first piece I ever wrote for a solo guitar piece. It's called The Linney Fires, influenced by Loch Linney, obviously, up in the Ardgour Peninsula. And yeah, I mean, quite strange. I mean, it's influenced by the Scottish Highlands and, you know, beautiful scenery, views of, you know, Ben Nevis. I actually wrote it in a changing room in Stoke-on-Trent in the theatre.
So the glamour of it all.
The glamour of it all, yeah. What it is was
no offence to anybody from Stoke-on-Trent. I've actually got relatives in Stoke-on-Trent.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's actually where I wrote it. I literally I got a tour. Sort of long story short, from the clubs I went on to do sort of like Motown artists and different things, and then eventually got sort of headhunted onto doing Jesus Christ Superstar for Andrew Lloyd Webber. So I was on tour for over a year with that, and it was like a rock gig, so I really enjoyed it. Reading gig, a lot of pressure on it, I have to say, at the start. I'd never done anything like that. Went to London, felt under a lot of pressure. But when we got out on the road, we stayed in a lot of really nice cottages out in the country, and I actually bought a guitar, acoustic guitar, and literally started writing almost as soon as I got it. It was quite strange. I don't know where that comes from. Obviously that sort of sounds a little bit Celtic, maybe has some more kind of jazz type of harmonies.
Yeah, it has Celtic, and there's kind of North American, Midwestern type of thing in there as well.
I think I like the idea of, you know, just that where it just rings out and there's not a lot happening, and then it's got some sort of different harmony things in it. It's quite simple.
I wrote a tune called One Day that has that kind of opening thing. It's funny because sometimes I always have to pull people up about this, because sometimes you play something Scottish and people say, "Oh, I love the Irish music." You say, "No, it's not Irish." And there is a big difference. Rhythmically, one of the big differences, and I'm kind of exaggerating this a little bit, but Irish music, there is more of a diddly dee to Irish music. There's more of a diddly da da. But Scottish music has more of a syncopation to it. It's got more of a swing. Even Scottish country music.
Just country dance stuff, the accordion and stuff.
Whereas Irish is more it's kind of a square type of thing. It's a big thing for me. I always say no. And harmonically as well, there are certain things that you hear in Scottish music.
I find traditional music, I've always found, I find it quite hard to follow it sometimes. I mean, especially like English folk music. I mean, I've got lots of friends.
Form?
Yeah, the form.
Yeah, the form is.
Because I've got friends that are brilliant folk musicians, but I can't really. It doesn't fall naturally to me. I can't really follow it naturally. I suppose the same way they maybe don't follow jazz or whatever naturally. But
I have a little bit the same, because I work often with Martin Simpson, and I work with Martin Carthy as well. I work with quite a few English folk musicians, Gordon Giltrap as well, and I think because I had that kind of jazz background, I was thinking of the form AABA, and then they don't have that.
No.
And then suddenly, for no reason, there's 3 bars going in there. Why is that?
I find sometimes they used to sit in at a session, so if we're doing a festival and maybe there was a couple of the Celtic players there, they would say, "Oh, come and sit in." I made the mistake of sitting in a couple of times, and it's that way. Of course, they don't speak to you, don't tell you anything. They just start playing, so you're playing away, and eventually you think, "Oh, I think I've got this," And just as you've got it, somebody goes, "Oh," and they change to a completely different key and a different tempo. So it's going from something completely different. And
that's why I never join in those.
No, I never join.
I go to the bar.
Yeah,
and I go,
it's the best place.
Guys,
it's safer from the bar.
Although there was a pub at the back of me. Remember when I used to live in Ayr?
Yeah.
Mick O'Brien's pub.
Oh, Mick's pub.
Used to go in there when they had music sessions, and I used to pick up a mandolin and play. And then I discovered the mandolin is a bit high pitched, so if you make mistakes or something's not quite right, you can hear it. And then I went in one day, somebody had a mandola.
Right. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. It's just the right frequency.
So you can hide
for everything. Yeah, you can kind of hide in on that. Yeah. So because you've had so many influences, you go back talking about the status quo and your electric playing,
yeah,
Motown, jazz, Celtic music.
Well, I mean, to put things in context for people that maybe don't know, I mean, I don't know anything about jazz at all for a long time. I had no real interest in it. You'd mentioned that we met in Glasgow, and the reason we met in Glasgow was that there used to be this programme called Pebble Mill at 1, which was a kind of daytime chat show thing, and I saw you with Stefan Grappelli on it. Now, uncharacteristically, for someone who's just into blues and rock, you were playing. I thought, I like that guy's playing. That's really good. And it just was coincidence. Like Marie, my now wife, found out you were playing in Society of Musicians in Glasgow, and we went in, and obviously took a bit of persuasion, for me to go up and speak to you. But then,
so shy in your young days.
I know.
See, not anymore. See this?
No, it's okay now. But the funny thing was, I mean, this is another thing, like a sort of a kind of frank thing where they get something out of you. I mean, obviously when we got together and you said let's play a standard, I didn't know what you were talking about. You were saying let's play Blue Moon, and I was like, no, I can't help you there, or any of the standards. So I think you said let's just play a blues, and I remember you saying to me, yeah, I think you could play jazz, and I thought, he's mad. But I didn't understand it. But the thing is that you can see something in players like Frank could or whatever, or I can myself now, obviously, but that I don't see that, because coming from a background where I've never heard any jazz, and then fast forward like we were on the road together and stuff like that and playing together, and that's really at the highest level. That's like weird. When I look back in it, I think I don't know how I made it through that first bit, but you must have saw something there and just went, yeah, he'll be fine, because obviously I'm sitting next to you on stage, and as you know, you want somebody next to you that's got your back and all that kind of stuff, and you're not going to sit next to somebody that you've got to help all the time or anything. So for me it was it's only now when I can look back at it retrospectively that I think to myself, that was just like an astronomically high learning curve, or steep learning curve, to get to that point. But you must have, and it's like when we met Ike and you introduced me to Ike Isaacs. I mean, I remember the first time, Ike's like, he would show you something and he wouldn't show you it again, and he was like, that's your part, I've got the harmony. He's on to the next thing.
There he is, the man himself.
The man himself. But what I didn't understand was I had taken what he said in, but I never realised that until I went to play it and I actually could play some of it. And obviously, as you know, some of his stuff is tricky to play.
I had that with Ike because I didn't actually have lessons from him, but I used to go around to his house and we used to do gigs together, and he used to play things for me. I thought, what on earth is that?
Right.
And he would play, and I didn't take it in. I couldn't quite figure out what he was doing, because he wasn't playing chord melody, he was playing more polyphonic. A lot of what I do I really got from Ike Isaacs, from this great man. And it wasn't till a few years later, the jigsaw suddenly came together. Oh, I get it now.
I think it all goes in. It stays in. It's just at the time. I can only speak for myself, but it was your house in Ayr, and in that back room the first time, and went through the stuff, and I mean, I literally came out of that room, and I mean, I was like completely inspired, but at the same time, I was kind of in shock. I think you were having a kind of smirk to yourself, because I think you knew what I was going to be in for, in a good way. And to think, that's the thing, when you don't really realise what your potential of certain things are until somebody points out to you, or maybe somebody gives you a nudge in that direction. And the jazz thing, and like Play Me Yourself and Spirit of Django and that, I mean, that's like the highest level suddenly.
It was a good band.
I mean, if you're sitting next to you and there's Jack Emlow there, and you're like, well, that's...
It was a great band. It was a great time.
You don't forget stuff like that. At the same time, when we were doing it, when I look back at it, I'm like, that was amazing, the whole thing. But at the time, I'm thinking, I must have been learning at a ridiculous rate, because I had no background in jazz at all. And that... Either you don't like me at all when you're... No, but the thing is, I think you need some people along the way that will... I mean, I've got a couple of people that I help out sporadically with stuff, and their parents have taken me aside or written a letter to me saying, you've made a huge difference to our son's career or daughter's career or whatever. And I've had that quite a lot, but I kind of understand that now myself. It's just, you see or hear something in a player. There's a young blues player guy that I've helped a little bit, and the first time I saw him play, he was really rough around the edges, but had he could sort of channel that kind of Albert King. He just had that sound, and I mean, I love the blues anyway. So I mean, I spent a bit of time with him, and he's, you know, first time his mum took me aside. She was crying and everything. She was like, "What a difference you've made! He's turned his life around.
Yeah,
he's
great,
doing this, and he's away studying now, and it's amazing." But I think you don't really know at the time. You just see things. So, and I've been fortunate enough that I've had, like yourself, Frank, other people, even just things like working like Andrew Lloyd Webber stuff. The discipline that's required for those gigs, live TV, as you know, is nerve-wracking enough, and did a couple of TV chat shows and stuff where all sorts of things are happening. Things are changing at the last minute. You know, you're following a conductor, you've got somebody shouting in your ear, you're reading music, you're changing patches, and you know, I've got a lot of respect for, you know, you look at the band like Strictly Come Dancing or any of the TV shows. That's hard work, you know, and these people are, as you know, they're great players.